Training to become a 100-mile beast is not easy.
My body is hurting.
But with my 100-mile race in 42 days, I know that if I don't train as hard as I do today, my chances of completing this ultramarathon go down dramatically. Morning, beasts. It's about 6:30 and we are running the tallest mountain in New Jersey, Mount Tammany. 3.6 miles and 1.2k feet of pure awesomeness. One loop isn't that bad, but when you stack them together, it's great training, especially for elevation. My race is in 43 days from today. It's got a total of 18,000 feet of gain, which is actually kind of intimidating. So to get some good elevation work and destroy my body in my peak week of training, I'm not only doing this mountain one time, I'm probably doing it 5, maybe 6 times. I had to wake up 30 minutes early to start this run because I was leaving with my family for Easter weekend, but I know in order to crush my 100-mile ultra, big workouts like these are necessary. I've done this loop a couple of times before, and it's really not the distance that gets me on this trail. It's the having to go up the elevation and up the elevation, which really starts to add up. All right, beasts, we're at the peak of loop 2, refueling with my granola bars. But training is one of those things for me that, because waking up early, running a bunch of elevation on a mountain, and being out here in the cold, rainy weather, definitely makes me more mentally tough. And when there's moments of fear of, oh gosh, I have to have this uncomfortable conversation, or I just need to crank out an hour more of YouTube here, or push through my mental struggle that I'm going through right now, this training that I'm doing now makes me so much more equipped for all of those other struggles. There's always a big chip on my shoulder knowing that I just ran 17 miles in the mountains, because pretty much whatever comes in my day after that is probably not gonna be as hard. So after big workouts like these, there's something in my mind that just has this peace and confidence over it, knowing that I already did something really hard today. All right, so we are at the bottom of loop 3, refueling up with an Uncrustable sandwich. And I just met some guy who told me this awesome story about how he paints rocks, puts them on mountains. And he painted a rock with a Bible verse on it, put it on a mountain, and some guy with like 50,000 followers posted that rock on social. So he was pretty hyped up about that. It was pretty cool. But my current fueling strategy is, since this is like a hour loop, at the bottom of the mountain, I take down an Uncrustable. It's got pretty good macros on it, a good amount of carbs, and it keeps me pretty sustained, I feel like. I also take down a granola bar at the top of the loop, which actually works out perfectly because I can normally do a loop in like an hour. So if I fuel at the top and the bottom of the mountain, I can get some good fueling done every 30-ish minutes. This was the loop that I decided that I was only gonna do 5 loops. It worked out timing wise, but yet again, running like this for me is more of a fun thing. So I love that battle and that grind. So as loops 3 and 4 come around and I start to think, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for 3 hours, that's when I start to feel that actual challenge setting in. All right, so I'm on my last lap, lap 5. Believe it or not, I'm actually on a little bit of a high right now. That conversation that I had with that dude kind of just sparked something in me, and it fired me up a little bit. So not only my body, but my mindset is really good through these last couple of miles. And what you don't expect on runs like these is the adventure that you get each time you're out here. Because I've had conversations with people, which are truly some of my favorite conversations ever. And each time you get on the trail, you really don't know what you'll see. And literally every time I go out, I see like a new person who I have a great conversation with, or something in nature that's just amazing, with like a beaver den or a flock of like 15 deer, which every time I go out, I love that mystery of, what's gonna happen today? That adventure is great, but so is the brutal workout you get in the mountains for 5 hours. So as I ride the high in these last couple of miles, I know that each step I took today will help me during the painful night of the 100-miler. All right, boys, we got our run stats right here. 16.93 miles, 6,440 feet of gain in 5 hours and 31 minutes. We also just hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I genuinely had a couple tears streaming down my face because I am proud of that. But just like today's run, the only way to reach the 100-mile goal, to reach 1K subscribers, to reach the goal that you want so badly, isn't to think about doing the thing or talk about doing the thing, but it's to get up and start logging the hours now. But if we're being for real, boys, those hours are hard to log, just like these miles are. But the fact that this goal means so much to me is what drives me out of bed every day to run each mile. But in 42 days when it's 3 a.m. and my body wants to break, that's when I'll prove it to myself that even when you're in immense pain, you can push through regardless of what challenge stands in your way.